Page 102. This is a 3-minute technique, a finger fanfare thingy. I'll go ahead and cover page 103 in this lesson also. We're dealing with the G pentascale, and this is just something to give your fingers something to do in a G pentascale. You got eighth notes going crazy, but you're just in a G pentascale. They want you to tap the rhythm and all that kind of junk up there. Let's just look at this finger thingy and see what's here. Yeah, I look it over. It's 4 lines long. Treble bass clef, 4/4 time signature, and we got quarter notes and eighth notes, a few half notes in there. I'm going to kind of take this both hands at the same time because it's really a lot of sort of imitation stuff going on or whatnot. So the right hand is in this G pentascale, and the left hand is in this G pentascale, and this is where you are. It's a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Get the idea? Okay, let's go down to measure 9. It's a 1 and 2 and 3. There, that's the part I'm after. It's important to hold these notes down the right length of time. So this half note only lasts for 2 counts. Therefore, on beat 3, it comes up. Well, on beat 3, I play this half note. So when I play that half note, the other hand comes up. 1 and 2 and 3, right there. It's important you lift up at that. We want to get into the habit of being exact on how long we hold these notes down. It makes a difference later on. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 1 and. Yeah. Once you have the notes and the rhythm all figured out, we think about the articulation, which they don't give you much of any, so what do you want to do? There's a few slurs. Otherwise, it's entirely, I could play them staccato if I wanted to. Doesn't say anything. You have an accent occasionally. Measure 9 accent. Look like ba-da-dum. It's up to you. You can mix it up. Play some slurs and some staccatos. Huh? Use your imagination. Play around with it. Just experiment with things. There's no right or wrong here. It's explore the music. Get into it and see what's in here. Dynamic-wise, this is pretty much for both hands. MF, mezzo forte, whatever you think moderately loud is. You get down to measure 9, that's loud, but with an accent that makes that one note very loud. You slow down at the end for the RIT, retardando, which means how fast are we going? Well, moderately fast. That's in between moderate and allegro. Moderately fast. There is a term for it. We'll get to that later. Right now, when I see moderately fast, I think fun. It's a fun thing to play. Generally, it is. To me, it is. Sort of fast. That's my moderately fast for now. A couple cups of coffee later, it could be different, huh? Let's play this together slowly and make sure you have the notes and the rhythms okay. I'm not going to do the dynamics. I didn't talk about the hairpin in measure 8. You just gradually get a little louder because each note gets a little louder. Yeah, you can do that. And at the bottom of the page, they say, can you transpose this to C pentascale? So you're just playing the same fingers. Instead of here, we could be here. It could be here. It doesn't matter what C pentascale you're on. Just play the same fingers they're playing. You transpose it to a different place in the piano. If you have any questions, let me know. Now for page 103, it's again a music theory review because we need to know this stuff, I guess. I mean, they say you do, so okay, I'll have to go along with it for now. Let's take a look at it. They want you to sight read the G major pentascale melody. They want you to sight read this stuff at the top of the page. These two lines here, you sight read that. See how you do. Then they want you to add a harmony to them with the G or the G sus4. Now you can put in the names of the chords in the little boxes. So start out with the G chord on the first one, and then the G sus4. G sus4. I'm kind of alternating with the G chord. It's just what sounds right. The second one, G again. I mean, these notes in the right hand, that's a G chord, so I'm going to use a G chord. Then when I get to the A or the C, I'm going to use the G sus4. See, generally, so if you're playing within the chord in the right hand, you're going to use the chord in the left, but I'm playing the other notes, I'm probably going to use the G sus4. It's kind of an idea of how you can do it, but again, listen to it and what sounds right. Does it sound like at the beginning, the first line here? Does it sound right to use a G sus4? Or does it sound right to use a G chord all the way through? So it doesn't sound quite right. So I know I'm going to switch around. Same thing in the second one. Here, G sus4 all the way through. It doesn't sound quite right. So you experiment with the sound. That's part of interpreting and part of improvising. Then at the bottom, the teacher, somebody's supposed to play those four things. And you're supposed to say, what chord does it end on? Is it the G chord or the G sus4? And I can do them in any order, so it's like the first one I play is this. So what chord did it end on? Well, it's a G chord, I'll tell you. Next one might be this one. What chord did it end on? It's a G sus4. This one? What was the last chord? It's a G chord. And this one? What chord did that end on? Ugh. It's a G sus4. It's a little edgy. It's a G sus4. But for the play with me, I don't do the dynamics. We're just playing notes and rhythms here. So I'll give us 4 counts. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And 2 and 3 and rest and.